The Detroit Lions absolutely destroy the Tennessee Titans as they win 52-14. That is the most points the Lions have scored since the 1990s, and the most points I've ever, of course, seen the Detroit Lions score. It was something special. Everybody played phenomenal. Very bad, or not very bad things at all happened. The Lions absolutely destroyed the Tennessee Titans and moved to 6-1, and the Titans moved all the way down to 1-6. Now the stats for this game are absolutely crazy. I will be going over my top 5 players of the game and giving my Lions watch review during this video and going over the stats. But the stats are absolutely ridiculous because it might not seem like we won by this much. But let's jump right into it. Lions win 52-14. Looking at the player stats here for the Lions. Or we'll go over team stats here first, I guess. Total yards, 416 for the Tennessee Titans to only 225 for the Lions. 258 passing yards for the Tennessee Titans. 61. That's it. Passing yards for the Detroit Lions. 158 rushing yards for the Titans. 164 for the Detroit Lions. So that's pretty close. 5.9 yards per play for the Titans. 4.8, that's it for us. 23 first downs for the Titans. 17 for us. 3 for 11 on third down efficiency for the Titans. 3 for 9. Fourth down efficiency, Titans went 1 for 2. We did a 10th one. Total plays, 71-47. That's crazy. Sacks allowed. We only got 1 sack on the day, even though maybe if you watch the tape, it probably seemed like we got a little bit more than that, but we only got 1. We allowed 4 once again. I believe we've allowed 4 now for 2 consecutive games. However, we allowed, I think 3 of them came very early in the game, so we only allowed 1 sack through the rest of the game. They had to punt 6 times. We punted 5 times. Jack Fox had a heck of a day. 8 penalties for 60 yards for the Titans. 3 for 29 for us. Fumbles lost, they had 2, we had 0. Interceptions thrown, they had 2, we had 0. 35 minutes and 37 seconds time possession for the Titans. We only had the ball for 24 minutes and 23 seconds. So, going over the team stats, you would 100% believe that the Tennessee Titans beat us, if not destroyed us, but that is the opposite, as the Detroit Lions destroy the Tennessee Titans. The stat line is not pretty. Anybody, if you did not watch the game and you just look at the stat line and don't look at the overall score of the game, you're going to think the Titans won the game or absolutely destroyed the Detroit Lions. But it was the opposite, and the Detroit Lions absolutely destroyed the Tennessee Titans. Let's go over the player stats here. Jared Goff had another good day. 12 for 15, 85 yards. That's it. 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. Now you're going to be like, how did you have only 61 total yards or whatever? That is because of the sacks. So Jared Goff passing yards counted, but the sacks take out the total yards thrown, if that makes sense. I don't know why they do that, but that's how they do it. Hendon Hooker ended up coming in the game in the fourth quarter, went 2 for 3 for 6 yards. That one incompletion that he had was an iffy throw, to say the least, but it is what it is. David Montgomery, what a play by Ben Johnson. He had a completion for 3 yards to a touchdown to Sam Laporta. It was an incredible throw. Jared Goff called it a dot, and for sure it was a dot. Sam Laporta was barely open. David Montgomery was able to just slide it in there. What a throw by David Montgomery. On the rushing game, this is like the only massive stat for the Detroit Lions on the offensive side of the ball, or I guess on the whole entire day. Jahmyr Gibbs, 11 for 127, 11.5 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. He finally broke one. I know we said that last week, but he finally, in terms of very long distance, broke one. It was a 70-yard rushing touchdown. He finally broke one, and he had a good day besides that as well. David Montgomery, stat line's not going to say it, but I thought he had a good day. He really didn't run the ball that much, but I thought he did good. 9 for 33, 1 touchdown. Craig Reynolds came in, didn't really do much. Sam Laporta was the only big name in the receiving game. On National Tight Ends Day, had a good day. 6 receptions, 48 yards, and a touchdown. He almost had another touchdown, and he was short at the goal line. So shout out to Sam Laporta on Tight Ends Day. Khalif Raymond, only 2 receptions for 14 yards, but he did have a touchdown, and he had a massive day besides that. We'll go over that in a little bit. Brock Wright had 1 reception for 8 yards and a touchdown on National Tight Ends Day. Shout out to Brock Wright. Finally gets his first receiving touchdown of the season. St. Brown had 2 receptions for 7 yards, one of them being a touchdown. St. Brown, pretty quiet day for him, but at the same time, we only threw the ball. Let's see how many times. We only threw the ball a total of 18 times. I guess if you count Montgomery, 19 times on the day, and 3 of them were with Hendon Hooker there. So Goff only threw the ball 15 times. Isaiah Williams was playing today for I believe the second time of the season. First time on offense, though. 2 receptions for 6 yards. Gibbs was not very involved, neither was Montgomery in the receiving game. Tim Patrick did have a reception day. Almost made a phenomenal one-handed grab that he couldn't pull in. It was on a free play, which should have been. They didn't call a flag on it. But it should have been a free play. Almost made a phenomenal catch, but couldn't bring it in. Allen Robinson, he was on my Lions watch. I think he had 1 target, couldn't pull it in. But I still want to see him more in the offense. I still believe in Allen Robinson, man. I'm not saying, for him to be, this big threat or anything on offense. I just believe he can still be a great depth piece on this team and be involved in the offense at the same time. On the defensive side of the ball, Tyron Arnold had another very good day. I would say this was probably his best career game. 7 tackles, led the team. Alex Anzalone had a very good day, 6 tackles and a sack. Made some very nice tackles besides that as well. Brian Branch did have 2 penalties on the day. I thought one of them was not right. It should not have been called. And then the other one you could argue as well. But he also made some very nice pass breakups as well. Jack Campbell continued to have another good day. Kirby Joseph had another pick, bringing his season total to 5, and he is still second in the NFL in interceptions, as Xavier McKinney got another one today, who is leading the NFL with 6 on the Packers. Jalen Reeves-Maybin had to sub in for Malcolm, who did get hurt during the game. Prayers for Malcolm. He got ruled out with an ankle injury. Dan Campbell said during his press conference that it didn't look good, but he doesn't expect it to be long-term in terms of a season-ending injury or anything. So he'll probably miss this upcoming game from what it sounded like, what he was saying, but I don't think he should miss much more than that. But he did a nice job while filling in. I thought he made some nice tackles. Ali McNeil really didn't do much. Levi had a very nice day. I thought almost got a sack. Should have had a sack. I thought he created some pressure as well. Carlton Davis had a very nice day. A couple pass breakups, almost an interception. DJ Reader made a nice play or 2. Kendall Vildor, I thought when he came in the game, played very well. And this Rakestraw really didn't do much when he came in the game. He got beat one time. Should have been a touchdown. Which should have been like a 70-yard touchdown, but it was an overthrow by Mason Rudolph. But he did make a nice tackle for loss as well, so... Khalil Dorsey wasn't really on defense that much, but had a huge, and I mean huge, kick return that went for 70 yards. Isaiah Thomas. I have to watch the tape. From what I saw, and it was a weird number. I can't believe he's wearing 35. I didn't even know that was allowed for defensive ends. But Isaiah Thomas, he didn't play bad. He just didn't create the amount of pressure that I would have hoped for. That's just from initial thoughts. I'm going to rewatch the game like I always do, and then give my thoughts on it afterwards. But Isaiah Thomas didn't create as much pressure as I thought. A guy like, where's he at? Not even on the list, I guess, unless I'm just blind. Al-Quadin Muhammad. Al-Quadin Muhammad had a fantastic day, I thought. Should have had a sack, almost had a sack and a half. He created a lot of pressure, looked very strong out there. Actually looked pretty fast as well. He looks like he can... I would sign, honestly, Al-Quadin Muhammad to the 53-man roster this week. I truly would. He, by far, looked like our best defensive end on the day. He was on the first team. Levi and him was on the first team, while Houston and Isaiah Thomas was second team today. Houston, I'm going to give him his flowers for this game. I thought he actually played a decent game today. His stat line might not see it. Almost had a sack. Mason Rudolph was able to get rid of it. Created some more pressure today. Always does that one move he does to get pressure. Now, he did get bullied a couple of times, but I thought he did get some more pressure today than he had got any time this season before. So, shout out to James Houston, get flowers for this game, but that does not change my thoughts on the defensive line. Let me say that. Now, on the day, we probably could have had a total of 4 or 5 sacks. We only ended up with 1. I'd say 4 or 5 is a bit much, but at least 3 or 4. So, it's not as bad as what the stat line was, which was 1 sack. But we still need to get a guy Arden Key had a fantastic day for the Titans. He had multiple sacks on the day, 2 sacks. Harold Landry really didn't do anything, but he's still a phenomenal player. And that's about it. Trevor Nowaski didn't really do much after he got an interception. He did get an interception, very nice interception by him. And that's about it for the defensive side of the ball. Cole Dorsey had the 1 kick return for 72 yards. Khalif Raymond, here you go. Here's where he was absolutely phenomenal. 5 punt returns for 190 yards and 1 touchdown. He should have had another punt return touchdown. Arguably could have had 3 on the day. Arguably the greatest kick return day I've ever seen, or punt return day I've ever seen by a Detroit Lion in maybe in NFL history. It was phenomenal. He is now second all-time, I believe, in all-time, in one game, all-time punt return yards. I forgot, it was some Rams guy who had 210 yards, will hold the title, but Khalif Raymond ended with 190 and got very close. And shout out to Jake Bates, had another good day, only kicked 1 field goal. He did kick his longest field goal of his NFL career, making a 51-yarder by a lot. He also was 7 for 7 on extra points, so he made a total of 8 kicks on the day. Jack Fox punted the ball 5 times for 305 yards. That's averaging 61 yards per punt. One of the best punters in the league, if not the best punter in the league. Jack Fox is so good. He just passed last week 250 all-time punts, and he is in terms of stats and stuff like that, is the 3rd greatest or 4th greatest punter in terms of stats in NFL history right now. Let's take a look, I guess, at the Titans here while we're at it. Just run through them real quick, and then we'll wrap this video up. Mason Rudolph, I actually didn't think he played a terrible day. 260, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Could have had 3 or 4 interceptions. Also could have had 2 or 3 touchdowns. Could have played better. Could have played a lot worse. Didn't make some terrible throws, but made some really nice throws. Was able to make some very tough throws, I thought, and was able to complete. So I thought Mason Rudolph did okay for stepping in for Will Levis. Tony Pollard had a very nice day, even though stat line, could be underwhelming to some people. 20 for 94. Calvin Ridley ate us alive in the first half, and then we were absolutely able to contain him in the second half. 10 receptions for 143 yards. Nick Westbrook-Ikini made some nice catches. Josh Riley, same thing. Tyler Boyd was a little bit quiet today. On the defensive side of the ball, Quandre Diggs did lead the team in tackles, but he did struggle in coverage. Arden Key, like I said, had 2 sacks. It was both at the beginning of the game, both on Taylor Decker. Taylor Decker is now up to, I believe, 6 or 7 sacks allowed on the season. He is a very good offensive tackle, but throughout his career, every year he's allowing more sacks than most of that. I think he allowed at least a total of 10 last year. And he's definitely on pace for that right now. But he is still a fantastic offensive tackle, no doubt about it. Jeffrey Simmons also got a sack. Roger McCreary got a sack. And that is about it. That's about it. Ryan Stonehouse, I thought, had a good job. He was the only bright spot for the Titans special teams. So shout out to Ryan Stonehouse, because that was the only thing that was shining for him. And let's go over my Lions watch real quick. Allen Robinson was on my Lions watch. He didn't really do much, of course. Isaiah Thomas, I got to rewatch the tape on him. Isaiah Williams did make a couple of receptions. Al-Quadin Muhammad was on my list. I thought played very well. Sam Laporta had a good day, and my honorable mention was Trevor Nowaski, and I thought he had a good day as well on special teams and the defensive side of the ball. And these are my top 5 players for the game, after the game. Number 1, we got Khalif Raymond, by far the best player on the day, if you ask me. Over 200 all-purpose yards on punt returns and through the air, and had 2 touchdowns on the day. Jahmyr Gibbs is also number 2. He's on the list, again, for having a phenomenal day and finally taking one the distance. Jake Bates is my 3rd player of the game, just because he went 8 for 8 and made his longest NFL career field goal. He now surpasses, by the way, Riley Patterson for the most field goals made consecutively, or just passes. He's now 11 for 11 on the season. Riley Patterson started 10 for 10, and Jake Bates is now the leader for the Detroit Lions in that category in Lions history. My 4th player of the game is Jared Goff. Even though he threw for less than 90 yards on the day, still had 3 touchdowns. One of them, the Dave Montgomery touchdown, probably would have been a Jared Goff touchdown if that play wasn't designed for Montgomery. So could have ended up with 4 on the day. Very good completion percentage again, 12 for 15. And my last one might shock some people, but it's a Meek Robertson. He had 2 forced fumbles on the day, made a couple nice plays in the pass game, did allow a big completion on the day, but he is a fantastic signing. He was so cheap. I'm glad he's here. He'll be here next year as well, as we signed to a 2-year deal. So shout out to a Meek Robertson. And my honorable mentions is Sam Laporta on National Tight Ends Day because of his yardage and the touchdown he got. And Alex Anzalone made a couple really nice tackles for lost tackles, and he also had a sack. So those are my top 5 players of the game. Lions win 52-14 in dominating fashion. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. Vikings also lost. The Bears are hopefully going to lose today. The Packers did squeak by the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Lions right now, if the Bears lose, are sitting comfortable in the NFC North. But we do face the Packers next week. And if the Packers do beat us, they will claim the number 1 spot in the NFC North at the current stage. So, one pride, go Lions. Leave your thoughts, comments down below. Would you put anybody in the top 5 that I did not? Is there anybody that I missed that had a phenomenal day? Leave your thoughts, comments down below. On to Green Bay. One pride, go Lions.